Okay then, so it has finished Aston Villa 3, Lazio 0. Villa beat Champions League opposition in a pre-season friendly, which is quite an interesting sight to see. Obviously it's pre-season, so nobody really cares too much about the result. It's about the players building fitness and building some momentum going into the start of the season. Obviously, Villa were playing today at the Bescott Stadium as opposed to Villa Park because of some stadium changes that have not been come to fruition since it will not be out until next year. Obviously, we would have gone. Didn't happen. But ultimately, I was able to watch the game tonight thanks to the power of the internet. And I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the game. Overall, it's a game that should have been much more than 3-0 because, quite frankly, I think they were all over Lazio. They didn't really pose much of a threat at all. Apart from the odd chance here or there, I think Villa completely controlled the game and absolutely put Lazio to the sword, being quite ruthless in their finishing, getting 3 goals to the end of the game, and ultimately seeing out the pre-season game with a memorable result against opposition that we haven't played the likes of in a very long time. Like I said, Champions League team going into it this season, so it's quite interesting to see Villa play at that standard and get a decent result. But then again, we've also played teams like RB Leipzig, won there, and then had seasons after that. But anyway, goals tonight scored by Ollie Watkins, a lovely through ball played in from Yuri Tielemans, cuts into the box, weaves his play past a few defenders and is able to curl it into the bottom corner for 1-0 just before half time. Obviously missing a penalty before that. I didn't see that bit as well, but I saw a lot of commotion all over the penalty situation. I don't really know why we're complaining about penalties. We don't really take that much penalties, and I'm not really. I mean, everyone's hearing about complaining about penalties. Like, there's like 9 other players on the pitch that can take penalties. Just because Watkins may have missed one tonight in a pre-season game, by the way, that means bugger all in the grand perspective of things. I mean, people just want to moan for the sake of moaning and cross over, but whatever, he's still got his goal anyway, so that's going to get him up and running for the season going ahead. And then obviously at half time, a lot of rotations going around the team. I believe all 3 new signings from Aston Villa started tonight. So Diaby, Tielemans and Pau Torres were all playing in the first 11. And then quite a few changes at half time to bring on some rotation and also some of the younger players coming on into the second half. But as we get into the second goal with John McGinn, a lovely free ball played into Matty Cash. Nice little touch on the edge of the corner flag for Lazio's end. Plays it back into McGinn, edge of the box. A little bit of a deflection, but it curves into the back of the net for 2-0. And then the last goal, a own goal from, I think it's Severin on the left, cutting in, trying to get a cross in, but it gets also a bit of deflection, so it leads to an own goal. But some really good work there, trying to bully and pace his way down the line for Aston Villa to get us going forward. And like I said, there were a great few chances. I know there was a lovely Buendia moment that happened. Chambers lifts the ball into the box. He's able to just get past the defender, nips it in, and just cuts wide at the post. But then the odd hit chances here and there from corners or free kicks, especially from the likes of Coutinho, who was absolutely on fire for it tonight. He absolutely wanted it, and that's what you want to see. You want to see players with a bit of energy and excitement when they come into a pre-season game. And that's what we saw tonight. There was a lot of faces there that are really staking a claim for not only being in Aston Villa this season, considering the season we're going to be having, but also staking a claim to be in the first 11 as well. Some standout players then, really, again, Buendia looking on form, looking like somebody that's always got the passion and energy to drive a team regardless of the opposition or the size of the player that he's up against. You can see what he's doing. He's using his attributes to his advantage and he's getting his way through defenders and really helping us build a player. Yuri Tielemans is looking lovely in that midfield. He's just bringing the ball and instantly sending us into an attacking state of mind. He's getting us up that pitch, and like I said, that ball to Watkins, that's the type of link up you want to see from your midfield to your number 9, your main centre man, or possibly your number 9. But you want to see that. You want to see your midfield linking up players like him so they can go through and score the goals, because that's what you need to do in the game to win. Defensively, I thought we looked alright. I wouldn't say that we were massively troubled. Like I said, from Lazio, I don't think they massively put anything on us. It was more so such a reassuring performance. And I think Olsen as well did really well in goal. You know, that's the type of games that are giving him confidence. And I know there's always going to be conflicting reports, but it seems to be the general case that Olsen will be staying. There won't be a consideration for a third keeper. And I think it's Sinisalo, Marshall, whoever's going to be as our third keeper, but maybe Martinez and then Austin as the backup. So I thought they looked quite interesting as well. And then obviously in the second half, players like McGinn really showing out as well as the captain, trying to be the leader of the team. Mings, Douglas Luiz just being really showing up in the defence and keeping stability and control in the midfield. And then players like Coutinho as well, who's really showing that he's got a point to prove now. Obviously, there's no longer Gerrard here managing him. He's under this new guy. There's a lot of doubt behind him considering the amount of injuries that he's had since he's come in and the lack of real hype that he's been lived up to since signing for Aston Villa. But he looked really on it tonight. A few chances here there from free kicks or just general goes at the box, but he looked like a player that's raring to go. And I think if he can just find that bit of playing time, that bit of momentum within the team, he can be somebody that can finally come good for Villa. But it's obviously one of those things that we'll have to see as the game goes on. But ultimately, it is a 3-0 win for Aston Villa tonight. Villa then move on to Valencia on the 5th, so this Saturday, playing away, and then obviously the Villa will start their Premier League campaign next week at Newcastle away. So it's very interesting to see. Obviously, it'd be nice to get us a win at Valencia away to really round off a really good, strong pre-season campaign for Aston Villa. And then obviously all eyes go on to the first game of the season. In terms of transfer-wise, if there's anywhere that we can still do, I still personally think, because I don't think I've actually discussed this in the video. I don't think it's been that long since I've been on one. What I actually think. Obviously, the signings have been great that we've made. I think for me personally, we still need a right back, just because I think Cash is playing a bit too comfortable in his position, and whoever may be the passable backup, you know what I mean, I'd rather have just a natural right back that's playing. It's someone like a Carl Walker-Peters, or even just, you know what I mean, someone on loan even. You know, just somewhere to give Cash a bit of challenge because I think he's needed. And I'd argue, it's hard to say, striker-wise, I think we're fine personally. Like, Watkins is still going to be there. Duran's going to have time to grow as a player. And then we've also still got someone like Cameron Archer, who I think is perfectly ready to be that next player in line. You've just got to give someone like him a chance. But there is also the players around him that can score goals. So there's nothing to worry about there for me. I would just say perhaps looking to strengthen perhaps for a new attacker, if not like a massive priority. I think midfield-wise, we're perfectly fine. I think we're ready. I think the likes of Philip Bidays as well, coming through the pre-season games, looking really strong. The fact he might play a role in the campaign, that'll be interesting to see. I just think attacking-wise, if there is a possible option out there, it'd be nice to explore it, but I'm not going to be too disappointed if not. If anything, I just think defensively, perhaps that's where we need to be strengthening, building more of that depth within the squad. But yeah, Aston Villa 3, Lazio 0. Tell us in the comments down below what you thought. We move on to Valencia, and then it's the next season. So come on the Villa. We'll see you for that next game, boys.